This video is sponsored by no one. I have no sponsors, and now I'm going to jail for tax evasion. See ya. So here's the Antler that we're working with. It's actually a dog's chew toy, but I think it's more of an antler than it is a dog's chew toy, and I think deer antler handle knife sounds better than dog chew toy handle knife. But it is real. See, you can see all the stuff. So there's a few ways to go about this. What you'll see a lot of people do is drilling into here and scooping all that stuff out, and then actually inserting the tang of the knife all the way down into it and filling it up with epoxy. But I'm actually going to be turning this into a couple of handle scales and making a really cool full tang knife. So first order of business is perfectly cutting it down the middle, which for people who aren't built different could be pretty difficult. But here, check this out. Step number 1. Clamp the antler. The reason we're clamping it all the way on the end is because this is what we're going to use to hold it perfectly flat while we cut down the middle. And you can't be applying pressure from the outside while a blade is going through it, otherwise it's gonna pinch the blade once it cuts. Now watch. Ooh, raw. I forgot how much antlers and bones and stuff stink when you cut them. All right, that actually works super good. You can see for a majority of the cut, I was able to get the pieces pretty even, but then right at the very end where it kind of curves off a little bit, you can see that is pretty substantial. But like I said, because this is mostly caused by that curve that you can see, let's see how much of this I can correct for by trimming the end off. All right, sweet, that definitely helped. I think the rest of this could probably be corrected for through the flat grinding. All right, I think that's tolerable. I'm comfy with that. If I grind this part down anymore, I think it's gonna start getting uneven all the way up here, and that's probably a bigger deal aesthetically. So Dan's been cranking out these knife blanks epically. Very helpful. So I've taken one of the bigger bush knife blanks, and I really do think I could get that to fit inside there. So we're gonna start with some red dicum. We don't really say the name of that other color around here. Just kind of cringe, to be honest. This might actually be pretty sick. Oh, I actually completely forgot about the bolster too. This is actually gonna be even shorter. shouldn't be doing this. Guys, this is how much I care about you. I'm about to give away a trade secret. This one little tip is gonna make your glue ups 1,000 times easier and look 1,000 times better. And what am I charging for this? $1 million? $10 million? No, just a subscription. That's just the kind of guy I am. Here's the tip. Get yourself some epoxy with a long set time. Squeeze out a good healthy amount. Mix it up as well as you possibly can, and then wait. Let it sit for about 30 minutes. It's gonna change your life, okay? Don't let it get gummy where you could like pull it up in a ball, but just let it thicken up a little bit. So when you let it sit like that, almost till it gets to the consistency of like peanut butter, you can spread it on and get a much thicker layer on there. This means that when you put your scales on and you have these like hardly perceivable gaps right here, it's gonna fill in those gaps, no problem. And most importantly, they're gonna stay filled in. No more gluing everything together and coming back 8 hours later and finding half your epoxy dripped out. And you gotta mix up more epoxy, fill in the gaps, and wait another 8 hours for that to be finished. That was how your old life was, your bad life, before I showed you this trick. Not anymore, because you subscribed. Good job. All right, I almost forgot, very important. Get yourself some kind of degreaser wipes, especially for a build like this where the scales are going on pretty much finished already, as in you're not gonna be grinding away very much from them. You need some way of cleaning the epoxy off of them very effectively. My favorite way has been these crocodile cloths. You know, it's one of the best parts of these long setting epoxies is I just remembered that I still have to peen this rivet. If I was using some kind of 5-minute epoxy, I'd be screwed. But I've got enough time to clean this off, go over there, peen a rivet or two, call up a friend, take a poop. See, we're getting there. Let's get this rivet done. Okay, I don't know the right way to do this. I'm just gonna do my best and hopefully it's not too ugly. You can see when you look over the top, this scale is kind of like a raised shoulder. So if I try to grind it flat, it's gonna take a whole lot more out of this one than this one. I don't know if that's just like part of it, if that's just like something you gotta deal with. So I'm just gonna go for it. Either way, I think it'll be a good experiment, good learning experience. After grinding off all the, I don't know what you call them, blisters, bubbles, whatever that stuff is that pops up when you quench it. Went ahead and ground that off. I was considering leaving it, but I just couldn't get it to look purposeful. It was just stuck looking kind of gross, kind of first knife-ish. Able to get some pretty cool contouring done right here. A little bit in there too. And in the end, I'm actually crazy happy with the way this turned out. It's a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. For a first horn knife, I'm extremely satisfied. Okay, for the sharpening, I am the most annoying thing in the world. I have always done this. I set the camera up, I get it in frame, I get everything in focus, and then I record the back of my hand without fail. So, sorry. The process pretty much goes, I do the primary bevel with a 120 grit belt on the belt sander, then I establish the secondary bevel with the 120 grit belt. I then jump straight to a 1000 grit belt to polish that secondary bevel, and then once that's nice and shiny, I move on to just a regular buffing wheel with a 3000 grit buffing compound. I know there's some very, very fancy ways to put probably a much better edge on these knives. I'll look into it, trust me. I'll probably even do like a whole entire video on it. But so far, this is doing them pretty nice, so I can't really complain. This particular knife, this might just be the sharpest knife that I've made. Definitely the sharpest camping knife or bush knife that I've made. That combined with this being my first ever deer antler knife, can't say I'm super disappointed with today's build. So if you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. Help me not go to jail for tax evasion. A lot of mutual gain from this thing we got going on here, I think. All right, got to get to work on the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.